Well, I went through Nam, and through the rice paddies and all this stuff, and I was scared, but not as much as when I ran into my encounter. I tell you, it was years of having nightmares on that thing.
I gotta ask, will your wife let you drive the car on a camping trip?
You had to throw that up, didn't you, James?
I'm just curious. That is the greatest story, or true story of all time, man. It just is.
Well, you can think it's a story. You can. All I can tell you is I'm willing to take a polygraph test if somebody wants to pay for it. If you want to give me sodium pentothal, I'll do it because I know what I saw. I lost a very good friend over it because
I know, that's crazy.
Because he was scared I was going to open my mouth, and next thing he knows that he isn't going to have his medical practice that he was opening when we got back from the trip.
And Gary, that makes me think how many people have come across those out in the national forest, out in the middle of nowhere, and maybe one of them Bigfoots actually grabbed a hold of people and they never came home.
I don't know.
That's possible with some of the missing 401, with the 401 cases Paulides talks about. I don't think all of them by any means, but a few of them.
Well, Eric, I sat down because my daughter, was married into the tribe, Muckleshoot. And then when that marriage didn't work, she married into another tribe. I don't know why, but anyway, I got to know the medicine woman at the time at the Muckleshoot tribe. And, she was telling me about, stories about Bigfoot, and they weren't like these orb type stories. It was stories like, the women would be down at the river, okay, with their babies, and they would be doing their washing, okay, and all of a sudden a group of Bigfoot would run in and grab the babies or the squaw, or and then naturally the warriors would go looking to get them, and at times they would find pieces of the remains of the baby or the.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
I've got a friend in the Navajo that I think he's in South Dakota. I'm trying to remember, and I was asking him because I'm actually looking for a tribal storyteller to come on as for, and so we can ask him some questions about the Star People and Bigfoot, and it's a lot of the tribal legends that go into the paranormal.
Now that would be awesome, actually.
Yeah, there's one legend right there, I think, Northern California, where the Indian tribes and the Bigfoot tribe back in the 1800s were in a fight, supposedly, and they come to some kind of agreement. But yeah, the Bigfoot, basically, like you were saying, Gary, was coming and taking the women and children, and supposedly they was eating them.
That's what I was told by the medicine woman, that's what they were doing. Now, but again, though. Maybe some people, like Ron Moorhead and all these people have been going out for years, right? Recording sounds of Bigfoot and stuff like that. Maybe the Bigfoot and stuff in that area got used to those humans, going there and, repeatedly and felt they were no threat. So that could be a different, other than if you go out somewhere where people face it up. Canadian Rockies, where that internment camp was, I don't think there was many people going through there. And
not only that, it's like any other, like humans. There's good ones and bad ones, even like animals. There's some animals that they might attack you and they might not. Just like a dog. Some dogs will bite you, some won't. You just don't know.
Well, I think in my situation, I ran into ones that weren't used to humans, and it was as simple as that. It didn't want me there. I think if it wanted to kill us, it would have killed us. But I'll tell you, if we maybe would have stood our ground, I don't think I'd be talking to you. Because I think it would have probably...
Did you get a good enough look, Gary? Was that a female or a male? Because I was just curious if it was a female. Maybe she had a couple young'uns.
I didn't notice any boobs.
Okay.
Maybe
she had some young'uns,
When I first saw it, okay, my friend said, look at that bear. Now, this is like, we were there at the internment camp. There was like one part of a building that was halfway standing, okay? And we were looking at that. And across, there was like a little creek. And on the other side of the creek, there was a base of a mountain because silver mines were very, a lot of them in that area. And there was like an old abandoned silver mine. There was a whole bunch of old equipment there and all that stuff. And he said, hey, look at that huge bear. So I had a telephoto on my camera, and I swung around. I was going to get a picture of the bear. And evidently the light must have reflected off my lens or whatever. It spotted me, and it screamed out so loud. And I can tell you one thing. If a bear looked like that, then that bear has been disformed like you wouldn't believe.
Hey,
It was protecting the silver mine.
What if the
maybe
Bigfoot
silver
bears, they ever fight?
I know nothing about Bigfoot other than my encounter. You know?
Yeah, that's bizarre.
I don't think they do, because we went up to a Bigfoot sighting location, and a bear ran across the road in front of us, same area. So I don't think they do.
I was just curious. They got to be competing for
to be honest. To be honest with you, I think a Bigfoot would rip a bear in shreds.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't doubt that one bit.
So I think they have a I have no idea, but I would assume they have a territorial arrangement or agreement, or whatever the case is. Either way, they stay out of each other's path.
Well, yeah. I can honestly tell you they're smart. They're not stupid. They're not like a bear would be. I mean, what I saw certainly showed a massive intelligence.
Yeah,
are you getting snow?
Massive body too, wasn't it? Was it huge? Big?
It was big, and yes, Eric, we're getting snow, and it don't supposed to snow. It's supposed to stop hours ago.
It's supposed to snow here till Saturday.
Oh wow! I hope I don't lose the internet down again.
Oh Lord!
Oh, but I got to tell you though. Today, I joined Rally Point. Rally Point is like a bulletin board for military, and I've been, jumping into discussions about military regulations and military questions. Today, for the first, I was like, yeah, I got to do it. So I posted, how many of you have seen a UFO in the battlefield? And I'm amazed at the response, because I even had a command sergeant major, a lieutenant colonel. I expected to be kind of, yeah, whatever. We don't believe in UFOs, but yeah. I'm starting to get responses.
And they're seeing things. And I really think that,
yeah.
I mean, let's face it, during World War II, there was a lot of sightings, especially, yeah. I mean, the pilots would see UFOs off their wings going zipping by.
You had Foo Fighters in World War II, but then in Vietnam, I know there was a big battle with lights in the sky. I can't remember what unit it was, but they actually saw lights in the sky, and they actually engaged on it. Same thing with I think it was 1942 with the Battle of L.A., where we actually fired on a craft that was off the coast of California.
Yeah, Battle of L.A. They all kind of pictures of that. So, 1,500 rounds were fired and all kinds of stuff.
Nothing happened.
Well, that's what scares me, okay? That's what scares me more than anything. If a situation, if a UFO came in the wrong area, the wrong time, the wrong place, right? What would our military do? They would try to take it out. Now,
or capture it.
Well, I got a funny feeling, unless the UFO is suffering some type of problem, okay, like a malfunction or something like that, I would be really scared of the response we could have and what could maybe be created from a situation like that.
But Gary, think about it. Even if they were indisposed and got shot down, imagine the repercussions.
Well,
and another thing, they probably didn't grow up in a society like us that has empathy. They probably don't have our kind of empathy, and ours is kind of weak as a whole as it is. So factor that in.
Most of your alien races don't have emotion. That's part of the reason there's abductions going on.
With the DNA, yeah, I totally agree with that.
Well, without emotions, I guess it wouldn't bother them, right? To push a button and take out New York.
So if you look at Travis Walton, and if you look at a lot of the abductees we've talked to, when they're doing their experiments, they're confused by the fact that this abductee is screaming in pain. They don't understand pain because when they're poking the needle through your eye, or doing the screw marks, whatever the heck else they're doing to these people, they don't get that they're causing pain because they don't feel it, and they
might not have a nervous system like us, so they might not even know what it is.
Right.
Well, that's the whole point. I mean, if all these people that claimed that they've been abducted or had implants, makes me wonder, okay, if they're sitting there taking you without your permission, they're not asking the people, hey, Timothy Cullen, do you want to go and get an implant? It's by the way, Timothy's probably listening, and he's going to be talking to Travis Walton here, I think this coming weekend, and I asked him if he could try to get him on our show, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, that's cool.
But, and
that's what...
Oh, go ahead.
Well, that's what's interesting. So, Fire in the Sky, when it first came out, they portrayed Travis Walton as being abducted. And the true story that he finally came out with, I believe it was last year, was he was accidentally killed with the tractor beam. They didn't intend to kill him. They took him up to the craft. They brought him back to life. They repaired him, and they returned him. And, definitely... If you get him on the show, dig into that.
Well, I plan to. Again, I mentioned James Gardner a few times. It was my dad's friend. In that movie, he played a part in that movie. And,
sure.
Just from, playing the part, reading the script, and actually talking to Walton and some of the other people, to feel it out, research and stuff. He came away with it. He felt it was 100% legit.
Mm-hmm. The flip side, the other side of the coin with that all the skeptics jumped on board with, was they were about to lose their logging contract. And to make the money to save their logging company, they staged this big story. That's where the skeptics jump on. I think it's completely valid.
Well, it'd be hard for all of them to pass them lie detectors, I would think.
Oh, yeah, hands down. And I read it or I saw an interview, but the movie had a lot of fallacies to it. I mean, it's drama anyway.
Yeah, it has to be.
But the movie actually had an extra logger that wasn't even on the team. They don't know why they threw him in there. I guess for it might have been the criminal element guy. But TV being what it is, movies being what they are.
Well, they gotta. Just even like Project Blue Book, right? People are starting to complain about that. I like it, but like it. You have to take part of it as drama, and they have to, because if it didn't have the drama part to it, they're not going to have a huge audience base.
Yeah, it's just entertainment. They take some truths and put entertainment, mix it together.
But those are all based on factual cases. Now, what threw me off when I first saw it was I was always under the impression that J. Allen Hynek was a complete skeptic coming into it from the beginning. And the way they're showing him in the series, he believed in UFOs before going into it.
Yeah, they kind of switched that around because he was a skeptic. He'd seen so much, the evidence convinced him to sway the other way.
Mm-hmm.
In real life.
I don't know. Put it this way. I don't know how you feel, Eric, but you're into the paranormal big time, just like I am. I do feel that we're being visited. I do think there is abductions, both cattle and human, and I think it's way more than what we even imagine. Like Preston Dennett was on the show here the other day, and we were talking about it. I think there's a lot more people walking around with implants and all this weird stuff in them, and they don't even realize it.
Nope. And plus, a lot of people, think of all the people that don't even report it.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Most of them won't report it. Most of them won't ask for help because of fear of ridicule. Now, what you have is you have the contactees and then you have the abductees. The contactees are the ones that are having these wonderful experiences. Oh, there's no such thing as a bad alien. You've got both sides of that coin, too. The ones that aliens are wonderful. I don't see how anyone can hate aliens.
There's a bunch of different